Melbourne, are they going away sometime soon, Kane and Lordo? Is this the window shut? How significant are the problems for the Demons?
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it, Lordo? When you turn up and produce a performance like that, where there was just no energy, their ball use was terrible, they conceded 14 goals off turnover, the damage and flair from stoppage wasn't there, so they didn't kick a goal from stoppage, and for the second week in 3, they've been really disappointing. And when you look at the players that they've lost and they're good players out of form, you have to question certainly their credentials this year and whether it's the end of an era.
If it was August, Hutch, I'd say yes. But because we're in June and we've got so much left of the season, they've still got time, in my opinion, to turn it around. But it's been a poor month by them.
Nathan Buckley this morning on SEN Breakfast with you put their fitness on the agenda.
Looking at the Melbourne rooms after the game, they don't look as hard and fit as I would expect a top 4 AFL team to look. There were some players there that I thought didn't look in the condition that you would expect them to be at. Yeah, if you're going to be coming up against the AFL's best teams and expecting to win it.
So this is the poor vision to start the game, Lordo.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing I admire Melbourne about, and I've never liked their chemistry from midfield to forward and all that sort of thing, but one thing you admire about them, they're tough. They are brutal competitors, but on the weekend we saw none of that, and that's where we're all asking the question, and we don't fully know, we'll never know unless you're inside Melbourne, but is there more to this for them to play so badly and have such lack of effort? How do they get belted in the midfield like that? How do they get belted clearance, Kane? Contest. That's not Melbourne.
No, all they speak about is defence and contest, and both of those left them. So you look at the centre bounce, you've got Gawn, you've got Viney, you've got Petrarca in there, you've got Sparrow, you've got good players getting absolutely destroyed by a team who didn't play finals last year. So there was that lack of effort, there was the stuff off turnover, and then the big problem, I think, is Clayton Oliver's
Well, he's the elephant in the room, one of two. I think Petty's the other one. We'll get to him in a moment.
We'll get to him.
Clayton Oliver's fallen away drastically from a 4-time best.
So if we can compare his numbers to that best and fairest winning year in 2022, and that's the last season that hasn't been interrupted for him, there's the drop-off. Now, on the left, those numbers look okay, but your average midfielder is getting those numbers. That is the numbers of an average midfielder. So the thing that concerns me is the clearance, almost half less in clearance, and the score involvements. He just looks like a plodding midfielder who isn't doing any damage with the football. Now, I'm assuming Nathan Buckley was referencing Clayton Oliver and the way that he looked in those comments that he mentioned, because he was one of 3 players with his shirt off there. And I'd have to agree, he doesn't look as fit as he has in the past, certainly not covering the ground like he would. And for a player that's earning $1 million a season, I know it's complex, I know there's a lot going into it, Caro, but we judge him on his on-field performance, and it's just not up to standard.
They're also internally questioning the wisdom of selling the game to Alice Springs in the first place. Is that a complete side of Hugh? Is that avoiding the problem?
I think it is today. I think that would be giving them an excuse.
That should be an advantage for them, not a deficiency.
Well, I would have thought so.
Just on Clayton, though, are we surprised? Like, of course you're going to drop off, aren't you? Like, you have to be a rare player that can have such a poor pre-season and then expect to turn up and play good footy.
Why is Petty the elephant in
Well, he had 2 possessions. They were offered 2 first-round picks for him last year. They had a juicy offer on the table from Adelaide.
Now they're rucking him, Hutchie. Now this is how far he's dropped. So Van Rooyen doesn't play, so they're rucking him completely out of his depth against 2 accomplished ruckmen in Darcy and Jackson. But he will never be worth that ever again. And I said it at the time, how they didn't accept that deal for those 2 first-round picks for Harrison Petty was a mistake at the time, and he will never, ever be worth it. He wouldn't be worth 1 first-round pick now, Lordo, but how do you see him?
If they kept him as a backman, I think that's where that's where he made his name. That's where he's a premiership player. He's not a forward.
So that's on them then. That's on the management of their player.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's a backman. He's not a forward.
He was offered 2 first-round. They were offered 2 first-round picks because the Crows wanted him as a forward, not as a defender.
How many games have you seen him play? So it was a big mistake by the Crows.
He's played two decent
games, and they're trying to offer.
They got out of jail, the Crows, on that one. They should never ever go back to that offer.
And then we always knew they could get the ball in the forward line, but they couldn't score. But now they can't even get the ball in the forward line. So this is where their issues have gone deeper, and it'd be hard to know where to start because they've gone from 1st to 15th for entries.
Craig, you spoke about ruckman before. Do you think the Fremantle coach was having a crack at one of our panellists?
Yeah, I do. It was on the back of a 3-goal game from Luke Jackson and a strong one from Sean Darcy, I should say. Almost said Sam. Let's have a listen to what the coach had to say.
Because I don't really care what everyone else thinks, and people want to be sensationalists and be the first to say it's not working and this and that. Like the fact is, last year when they both played and had continuity, it worked, and we haven't had that continuity this year.
It's unusual to see Justin Longmuir get a bit fired up, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
have you seen a big enough sample size now? of
One
the two
game
ruckmen?
where they won by 90 points. No, I haven't. He's got 6 years to go after this, but they're always going to be defensive of their players, of course.
But Jackson's so good.
That's my point.
He plays well anywhere.
And that's my point. You didn't need Darcy with Jackson. You've got Jackson. He can lead your ruckman. He's a much better ruckman than he is a forward. And even
But look at Melbourne without
some of the goals that
Grundy
he's
yesterday
kicking.
with Petty playing.
Yeah, but not
Right.
many teams have two genuine
But
ruckmen
you don't think he
playing.
does play well anywhere, do you? Because Hutchie's saying Jackson plays well
No,
anywhere.
no,
but he's,
I don't. I think he's
Yeah,
a ruckman, and that's
ruckman,
it.
yeah.
He's not a midfielder. They tell you he's going to be a midfielder. They haven't used him there. He's certainly not
By
a
the
forward.
time he's finished, he'll be able to play any
But we're
position
talking.
to an
We're
All-Australian level.
I agree with you. We're largely talking about Darcy Hutch. They didn't need Darcy on a 7-year deal. His body is banged up. You see the mattress that he wears on his leg. He requires going in the change bench a lot. He doesn't impact games. He's in scratchy
Pretty good,
form.
yeah, pretty good
He's
in the week.
Scratchy
7
form.
marks.
Yeah, we'll see. Come
Yep.
back to me, Justin, in 4 years' time.